to get worse, as we've been talking about, as the de facto frontrunner continues to hold his double-digit lead. Joe Biden does, basically because he's Joe Biden. And he's been on the earth breathing longer than all of them and been in public service longer than all of them. And no matter how many zingers and bombs they threw at him last night, I don't know that lead will be completely erased, because what happens is with so many people, like in the first debate, some of them who had a bad performance, like Cory Booker, came back last night and had a better performance. Kamala Harris had a better performance in the first debate and less last night. So they keep rising and falling and chipping away slightly at Joe, but none of them are competing with Joe Biden yet that I see.
No,
do you see this any differently?
No, but I really like the lady who, I don't know her name, but the one with the crystals. and
Marianne Williamson.
I really like her. She's so entertaining.
I've started a campaign called Free Marianne Williamson because I think she should be on every debate stage from now until the primary season's over.
Yeah, I Googled essential oils and yoga.
Maybe you could incorporate her as your campaign manager there, Representative Bryan Spencer, for your next campaign.
That'd be a no.
She might play well out in St. Charles, don't you think?
No.
Little new age love.
No.
Yeah. So,
No.
What did she say about the dark sphere of death or something?
Oh my gosh. She has said so many things that have to do with Tony Columba always says that she wants to start like an organization of peace. And that she's trying to combat like Trump's hatred and everything with love and peace. And she wants to start its own branch of government by doing that. She says so many things. It's crazy.
So Greg Gutfeld tweeted out last night that he's going to start campaigning for the Tulsi Gabbard Marianne Williamson ticket.
Oh, that's an awesome ticket.
And it upsets the left-wing liberals so much because I see them on my Twitter feed. They are, I'll tell you what, left-wing liberals are the most intolerant people who claim to be tolerant I've ever run across. The viciousness and the vitriol they direct at nice, loving people like goofy Marianne Williamson, who just wants us all to get along, and Tulsi Gabbard, who has dared to say that we should not be the world's interventionist police person. I don't even know what to say. Policeman, is that wrong now? Can I say policeman
Don't say
still?
either, just say police officers.
Police officers, the cops.
Cops.
They are terrified of those two ladies. It's really amazing. I think it's a great thing.
I think it's very entertaining.
It really is.
She is entertaining, that's for sure. Marianne, every time she gets on that stage, seriously, I watched the debate 2 days ago, and the only person that I watched for was Marianne. I'm like, what's she going to say?
So all you all out there in listener land, you all need to just get on her website and send her $1. Let's keep her on that debate stage as long as we can.
That's awesome. I mean, why watch sci-fi when you got CNN?
That's right.
She is an author of some sort.
I'm sure she is.
She's a writer and
Maybe she's writing the next Game of Thrones.
So one of our listeners, listener Bryan, just tweeted at me. He said, because I was struggling. We used to call CNN the Clinton News Network, but I don't think today's.
I call it the Communist News Network.
That's exactly what. This is Bryan Stahlheber, so a fellow Bryan, spells his name differently. He says, yes, it's been updated to the Communist News Network. So there we go.
That's a common saying.
That's what it's called now?
It is.
That's more accurate. So Representative Bryan Spencer from the great county of St. Charles. Bryan, what's your region right now, your representative region?
So I'm in eastern St. Charles County and western Warren County. So shout out to my Wright City folks. That's where I currently reside.
Great, beautiful, growing area.
Oh, yeah. Corn's nice and tall and green and soybeans. And, there's lots of cows out there, too.
Lots of Americans out there. Lots of great Americans.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Great people who chip in. And the Republicans and Democrats out there are basically, the same quality of people. I mean, they're good people. It's not the crazy Democrats that you see on TV. They're just regular people who care.
Very good. Hey, what are you thinking about working on next year in the Missouri legislature? I can't believe it. It's August. You all have a veto session next month. And then December 1st, bill filing starts, 3 months from now.
December 1st.
December 1st. 4 months from now.
We can start writing it October 1st.
So what you working on?
So probably the big one would be the Animal Protection Act, the Working Animals Protection Act. Right now, there is a onward attack of any business that has a partner that has a tail. So what they do is they get in, they infiltrate the local governments, the health departments, and they use policies and ordinances to regulate a legal business out of business.
Really?
So they're going after the zoos. They're going after the county fairs. The
Why?
whole bit. So I have in my area.
I thought all these big government liberals loved animals. That's what they tell us.
Oh, no, they love to use animals for their political agenda.
Oh, for political power.
Oh, yes, right.
Yeah, they don't really like animals. They just like the money that they can generate from saying they love animals.
Right. That commercial that uses all those sad dogs.
Yes.
They spend less than a nickel out of every dollar.
I've heard that. It's all overhead and big salaries.
And then they create these animals, and then they euthanize them after they're done filming them.
Anything for political power. It's really a shame.
So what my bill basically does is it makes them think a little harder.
Okay.
You can't regulate a legal business out of business.
Okay.
They've already done.
That makes sense.
They've already done the hoops to establish their business. So once they're established, you can't put things in their way to make it unfeasible for them to make business. To make money.
Talking back to education reform, how do we get education reform done in the state? What do we need to do to move the ball forward on that area where a state like Missouri should be an innovator on that issue? And in full disclosure, my full-time job at First Rule, our government affairs division, works on those issues very heavily. We have many clients in that field, but it's something I believed in before I was even thinking about being in the legislature. I learned it at the knee of former Senator Jane Cunningham. She was my teacher on that, and I learned that kids in disadvantaged areas, especially mainly in the urban areas, really need to have choice. The Democrats love to talk about choice, Bryan, but they only mean it on one thing, and that's whether to exterminate a life or not.
Well, we need to put the control back into the parents' hands. We need to quit to have former teachers and people who are directly connected to education on these school boards. We need parents to be a part of that and start focusing on parents are the ultimate decision maker. They are the expert of that child. They are with them the majority of the time. The school only has them for a short period of time.
It really starts with recruiting, right? It really starts with recruiting good candidates, whether it's for school board, whether it's for city councils, whether it's for state reps or senators. It all starts because once you get that person in there, it's really hard to change minds, isn't it? You need somebody who believes in parental choice for education on the front end.
Correct. And, I've been a public school teacher for 22 years, and then since becoming a state rep, I'm starting my 7th year at Liberty Christian Academy, and I'm a strong believer of parents being the ultimate decision maker of the child's
you walk the
education.
walk, you talk the talk. Hey, Bryan, in our last few minutes we've got here, tell folks how they can find out what you're doing. How do they follow you? Do you have a social media presence? How can folks find out more about Representative Bryan Spencer and what you're going to do in the future?
All right, so you got the normal Missouri House website. You can see the current legislation that I'm writing and sponsoring. You also have my Facebook page, Citizens for Spencer. I give out my cell number. People call me all the time, which is 314-740-1050. And then you have my state representative page that lists everything that's going on in Jeff City.
That is fantastic. And Bryan, despite my best efforts and advice to you, you're actually thinking about running for the upper chamber someday, aren't you?
I announced that I'm running for Senate.
For state Senate here in the great state of Missouri. Well, congratulations to you. I have been a proud supporter of yours and will continue to do so. And thanks for coming in and being on the Annie Fry Show with me.
Thank you very much. Good seeing you.
Great to see you too. That's Representative Bryan Spencer. We'll be back with the good folks from the Missouri History Museum talking about a fantastic new exhibit they've got there all summer and into the fall. Flores Mexicanas involving the Lindbergh family, as in Charles Lindbergh. This is Tim Jones. I'm in for Annie Fry. It's the Annie Fry Show. Big Al, I'll try to get your phone calls and others, 314-241-9797. If you want to call in after this top of the hour break, we'll be back with the Missouri History Museum and lots more.